so today I'll be sharing my gallbladder surgery experience with you guys. I'm very nervous to share this story because it's a very emotional and traumatizing experience for me. It is my first surgery, and I did have complications after, but I decided to try to put a brave face on and share my story in hopes that it may help someone else, or someone may have a similar story and they won't feel so alone, because at that moment I did feel alone. So yeah, I'm hoping that my story can help someone else, or someone can share their story and we have similar stories and I don't have to feel so alone, or I don't have to feel, what's that word, like, it only happened to me kind of thing. I also decided to do this video as well because Micah did film a part of the hospital. I don't know which trip it was because I did have multiple trips after due to complications from anesthesia, which I'll get into that in this video as well. So with that being said, there is some trigger warnings. I will be adding some graphical pictures, so there'll be like blood, surgical cuts, bruising, doctor stuff, all that stuff that involves surgical, doctors, cuts, blood, whatever. That's a trigger warning for you guys, just to put an FYI and disclaimer and trigger warnings, because I know triggers can actually affect people. I've had, things affect me, and so putting triggers actually helps people. So I wish I knew how to put timestamps on things so you guys could go through those. If someone would be kind enough to put a timestamp of the pictures in the comment section, that would be amazing, because I don't want anyone to get affected by this video. I actually just want this to be kind of educational purposes, because it's my experience and I'm sharing what I went through, and also maybe to help someone else out there. So with that being said, again, all of our disclaimers and our links are in the description. Also, start a conversation in the comments. Let's get things rolling back on our channel again. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we stopped Vlogmas a couple of times. So between the 21st and the 23rd, we actually stopped because I started experiencing stomach pains. These stomach pains were definitely different than any stomach pains I've ever experienced, and I do get a lot of stomach pains. My stomach is not a happy camper when it comes to certain foods or spices, and so I can tell when it's something that I've had before or it's something new, and I could tell that this was something new, and it was something that was starting to alarm me a little bit. After the 27th, which you guys saw that we came back on the 24th, after the 27th, that was actually my last part of Vlogmas, because Micah was just like, okay, we need to take a break, you need to see what's wrong with you, what's going on with you, and stuff like that. I, at this point, started having number 2 really bad. I was having chills and sort of like fevers, but we couldn't really tell because at that moment, it was kind of cold upstairs in our old apartment, and so he couldn't tell if it was chills from an infection or a fever or something like that. So he was really good at just staying on top and checking me out, making sure that I'm okay and everything in between. So it came, I think, New Year's Eve. I went into the urgent care. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, it's just my stomach, I ate something wrong, or I have food poisoning or something like that. But the lady smacked out said, it sounds like your gallbladder. And at this moment, I'm freaking out inside. I'm like, no, it's not my gallbladder, trying to not argue back with her, but just kind of defensively just say, oh no, it's not my gallbladder, I've had this before, just give me medicine, let's get out the door. But she was so on point. She was like, if I could give this doctor a high five and just not congratulate, but just, what is that word? Just say how proud of her I am and her skills, because I wouldn't even be that smart to be able to tell somebody, oh, it's your gallbladder. But she knew exactly what I was going through. And I should have listened to her. But I did it. I was stubborn. I was scared. I didn't want to listen to her. I didn't want it to be my gallbladder because in the past they thought it was my gallbladder as well. And it never turned out to be my gallbladder after blood work and stuff like that. And she did ask me if my doctor did do blood within the last couple months. And my doctor actually took blood like, I think it was like 2 months or 3 months before. So, and there was nothing on my reading whatsoever about my gallbladder. So I ended up leaving there, and the thought of the gallbladder stayed on my mind. Like, I kept telling myself, like, maybe I should go to the hospital. Like, maybe I should go if this pain gets worse. So over time, I started, testing different foods and stuff like that. Literally, the 3rd of January, I went to the emergency room. I couldn't handle it anymore. I was like, you know what? I've taken Pepto, Maalox. I took extra of my stomach pills, which is not bad. I can take an extra pill of my stomach pills. Also, I have another kind of stomach pills that I take. I actually have 2. I have actually 3 different stomach pills. And I can take all of them in the same day. They just have to be like hours apart. And I had already taken almost all those almost every single day. So at this point, I'm like, okay, yes, we need to go to the emergency room. So I went to the emergency room, and this guy, he was like flooded with patients. There was like COVID patients in there. There was like so much stuff going on. And he finally gets to my room, and he's like, you need to have an MRI. And I'm like, an MRI? And he's like, yeah. Guys, I have claustrophobic problems. Like, I cannot handle like the CT scan. I cannot handle sitting or laying in certain positions for very long. In small closures. And so he's like, we have to get this done because he said something about my ultrasound on my gallbladder showed something concerning, so that's why he wanted the MRI to confirm if it was that or not. So I go and do the MRI. I just got the courage to do it. I don't know how I did, but I just got this courage to just do it. And I'm laying in bed waiting there. I'm on a high dose of anxiety because they also gave me anxiety medicine too. But let me tell you guys something. I don't know if it's just me or not, but anxiety medicine takes forever to work on me. So they usually don't even let the medicine work. They just give me the medicine and just shove me in. So I'm still freaking out a little bit. But like the medicine slowly started working when I was like halfway done. And so by the time I got to my room though, I was like drugged up on this anxiety medicine. I was like, I was about to fall asleep. So he comes into my room and he tells me that my gallbladder needs to come out, but he gave me the option to either stay or go home, which at this moment I kind of wish Micah was there to advocate for me because I was not like in the right mindset because I was like so high off of this anxiety medicine and like I'm barely coming back to my senses. And I told him I was going to go home, that I could just schedule it and stuff. But I felt stupid after. Like, when I was even leaving, I was like, man, I should have just stayed, should have just got it over with. But, I ended up going home at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I came home and I passed out. I woke up around, it was like noonish, and I called the place right away. And I ended up scheduling it for February 16th. But I had to be on a strict diet. So starting January 4th, I bought all kinds of healthy stuff. I had researched like gallbladder attacks, what to eat to avoid gallbladder attacks, because I had 2 stones in my gallbladder is what caused me to go to the hospital. And so at this point, I started researching everything about gallbladder just to make sure that I was getting healthy stuff and that I wouldn't flare it up and that I could wait until February 16th for my surgery. Because I was willing to go to the surgery. Like, I was going to keep the day. I was, I even was calling to see if they had cancellations. Well, not even 2 weeks later, I ended up getting worse. The pain came back 4 times worse. I felt hot to the touch. I ended up going back into the emergency room. I think it was the 15th of January. So it was like about 2 weeks. I ended up getting in there, and the lady there, I told her everything. I said I made the stupid decision to go home and to wait. I was like, I just want this out. I was like, whatever you have to do, get the hospital on board so they could just you guys could just take this out. She knew that I was serious because I had tears in my eyes. I was in so much pain, and I was so upset that I kept leaving Micah and Casper at the time. I was like, I just want to be home with my family. I don't know why this is happening. Like, I was just really upset because we were doing so well. We enjoyed Christmas. We had fun with Eric and Selena over. We had found out we were grandparents. Well, we already knew we were grandparents, but we got to share it with you guys. And so we were just really excited and happy and just emotional, and then this happens. And so I'm in the hospital, and I was there all night long on the 15th until the 16th. I had my surgery at 4 o'clock. So 4 p.m. I had my surgery. Well, I was in the pre-op actually. I saw it was about 4:30 when they were rolling me back. So the anesthesia guy came in to talk to me. The surgeon came in to talk to me. A couple other people came in to talk to me. And the anesthesia guy, he actually gave me anxiety medicine because I was telling him that I was really scared. I never had surgery before. This was my first surgery. I was really nervous. So he ended up giving me anxiety medicine and stuff like that. And everything was going good. So I went back for my surgery. My surgery went good. And I came out, and I remember a little bit. So I was, like, really drugged, but, like, I was waking up, but I could feel a lot of pain. And I kept telling her, I have a lot of pain. I feel sick. And I was all joking with them, too. I'm like, yeah, I made it. Like, you guys deserve a raise, playing around. Just really excited that I did this. Well, not even an hour after, my blood pressure had dropped dramatically. I'm talking, it was so dramatic that they didn't know what to do for me. They were giving me medicine after medicine. I just saw them running in and out of the room. And all I could think about was my dad and Micah. Like, I don't know what it was, but I also at the same time I felt so peaceful. Like, and see, I told you guys I was trying not to get emotional, but I am getting emotional because I was so traumatic, or not dramatic, I was so traumatized by this experience because I could just see in their faces that they were freaking out, but they were trying to keep me calm. But, like, how can you be calm when you see their faces? And then my dad and Micah and Casper and Eric and everyone was just running through my mind, and, like, where are they gonna tell them? Like, can I talk to them? And I just felt so weak, but at the same time I felt so much at peace. Like, I felt like I was dying. Like, it almost felt like I was dying, and it was the most scariest feeling ever. And it took them almost until 10 something to get me stable again, where my blood pressure came back to normal, and I was up in the ICU room, and they had me hooked up on all these monitors. But it was the most scariest thing, and, like, I keep replaying it over and over in my head because I'm like, what happens if they wouldn't have been able to do anything? Like, what would have been the outcome? Like, what would have happened? And yeah, so I get to the ICU room, and they're still freaking out. They're freaking me out. And they, like, scoop me over to the bed. They didn't want me to get up because of my blood pressure being so low. And so after I got up there, they started getting good numbers. And it was the weirdest thing. And so I ended up calling Micah, and he was crying because he didn't know what was going on. But he even said that when he was laying in bed and he didn't hear nothing from me, he woke up really quick. And that even scared me because I'm like, he just had an instant thing that something was going on, something was wrong. So, I begged him to go to the hospital because I didn't want to be alone, especially after what just happened. And so his mom ends up bringing him in. And I hated leaving Casper, you guys, but Casper was, like, just having to be there because we didn't know what else to do, and we didn't have anyone to go and watch Casper at that moment. So it was really a tough decision because I hated leaving Casper, but at the same time I knew I needed to do this for me because I needed somebody there. So after, I was in the ICU for about 3-4 days, and I finally was able to pee on my own and go potty on my own, and they sent me home. Well, I ended up coming home and I fell after I got upstairs. I fell in the kitchen. And so my bruise had went from this tiny little thing to my whole half of my stomach being bruised. Not even joking. Everyone said it was normal until I went back to the hospital. Now you're wondering why I went back to the hospital, and that is because I was feeling very weird. Okay, I was feeling very weird. I had yellow in my eyes. I felt off. I was getting dizzy all the time. And not only that, I was suffering with a really bad UTI. So I ended up going into the emergency room again. And I don't remember this date. But I was in the emergency room, and now let me mind you, I was talking to a surgeon all the way up until I went to the hospital. And he was just telling me to go into the hospital, because the bruise was a little bit alarming to him, but it wasn't something that needed to be seen. But, like, I kept asking him questions, so he was getting frustrated. He was all like, you just need to come into the hospital. I can't give you any more information. So I just went into the hospital, and I was like, you know, in there, I almost passed out a couple times. I was getting really bad anxiety attacks, and I was freaking out by being alone. Like, I couldn't be alone. Like, I needed Micah there. And it was just the most traumatic experience, and I ended up having a really bad UTI, and I had to stay there for, I think it was another 4 or 5 days I stayed there. Which Micah stayed, which again, Casper was alone, but Micah always came home to check on him. He actually stayed like a couple hours at a time with Casper. Like, Casper was never alone there for very long, only the whole night. But he wasn't stuck in a cage or anything. He had the freedom of like eating and drinking. There was puppy pads on the floor and stuff like that. So Casper wasn't that hard to have by himself. So yeah, I had, you know, the UTI as a complication. I did have some trouble going potty after surgery. My blood pressure dropping and stuff like that. So, that hospital actually did tell me that the big bruise was actually internal bleeding, but it stopped on its own. I think I probably did something when I fell, but I'm not too for sure. They did do a CT scan. Everything looked fine. They did, you know, talk about it and stuff. At the end of the day, you guys, I'm doing a lot better now. It has been a couple months. It's already May 23rd, I believe, and I'm doing fantastic. My diet is still a little in between. I can't eat a lot of things. I try not to eat a lot of things that hurts me. For instance, I try to stay away from a lot of spicy stuff, greasy stuff. If I do eat like meat, like red meat or something like that, I try to get the leanest cuts that I could find at the grocery stores. I try not to eat any greasy food. Like, I try to fry all my stuff in water or light butter. I'm even trying to stay away from butter and stuff like that because my cholesterol is a little bit high now. So I'm trying to stay away from like butters and a lot of like, you know, cholesterol high things. But other than that, I mean, I do have like a scar still from the surgery. Micah just said to put lotion and stuff. I would show you guys if I could. Let's see if I can show you guys. Let me try to take you guys off. So, here is the surgical area. This is just one of them. And then the other ones are, there's one right there. There's one right there. So I'm pretty much healed, but I have a lot of scarring and stuff like that to still deal with and stuff. And I'm actually losing weight, which is awesome. Actually, this shirt used to not fit me, and I have a pair of underwear on. I know TMI, but that used to not fit me, and now it's all fitting, and I feel very happy about that. I know some people say after gallbladder surgery they gain weight, but I've been noticing I've been losing weight, and that's also too because I can't eat a lot of things anymore. Like, I've literally cleared my diet. out of a lot of things. And so, like, whenever Micah and I eat out, like, I can't even eat full meals anymore. Sometimes I even get the kids' meal because I get full so fast. And that's another thing I noticed after having my gallbladder out is I get full really quick. And I used to not get full really quick, and now I get full really quick. So, yeah, I overall just want to say that, you know, my symptoms could be different than yours, but most of my symptoms was just really bad stomach pain. Definitely in the upper right under the breast. That's where most of the pain was. But it was also triggering over into the stomach, which made me nauseated. I had obviously number 2 really bad and stuff like that. But if you ever have symptoms like that, always get checked out. You know, don't go based off my symptoms and think that, oh, it's your gallbladder, because there is multiple things that could be going on in your body. So always go get checked, because that's something that I'm glad I did, because, you know, the second time I went to the hospital before my surgery, they said it was actually infected. This time it was really severe. That's why they did an emergency surgery, because it was needing to come out before February 16th. So, with that being said, you guys, that is my gallbladder surgery experience. I'm very thankful for Micah, because he took good care of me. He took care of me all these months since I've been sick, not being able to walk. I'm actually walking again, very slowly, but I'm getting there. And also with my gallbladder surgery, he was there for me. He took care of me. He encouraged me. He even ate some of the foods that I ate. Even though I told him he didn't have to stop eating his foods, he ate alongside me. He drank water alongside me. He cheered me on. And it just felt really good to have a partner that's willing to do that stuff with you, even though you tell them not to do that, to just enjoy life and enjoy it like if you were doing it with them. It feels good to have somebody to sacrifice themselves to want to do things with you, so you don't feel as alone or as, like, you know. So that was really awesome. So I definitely want to shout out my appreciation to Micah mostly in this video, because he's been the one taking care of me since my surgery. He still takes care of me. He still reminds me to be careful when I eat certain things. So that is definitely a great partner to have, someone that actually watches out for you during those times. So yeah, and I also want to thank a lot of other people in this video as well, friends, family, especially my sister, who's been there for me since day one. I couldn't have done a lot of this without you guys, and yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this gallbladder surgery experience video. I hope it's not too TMI or graphic, and I'm glad that I was able to calm myself, because I didn't want to ruin my makeup, but I was about to cry. It's just so traumatic for me, like, just knowing that, you know, if that's what it feels like to slowly die, from anesthesia, I don't know what was happening, but it felt like I was dying. I was, like, so comfortable. I was, like, at peace. I was falling asleep, and they didn't want me to fall asleep. They kept pushing me to wake me up. I'm still traumatized. I still get visions of when I look down at my stomach at my scar, like I touch my scar and like flashbacks just happen like a movie. It's just one of those things. Any surgery can be life-threatening, and I just want to point that out. Is like, so many people told me, oh, this is just a basic surgery, this is just a simple surgery. Like, no. Like, don't tell people that. Any surgery that puts you to sleep is a serious surgery. It don't matter how big or small it is. And I wish someone would have told that to me so I could have prepared myself. Because me being naive, I believed everyone and thought, oh, it's a simple surgery, so many people get it done. But it can, in fact, take your life if you have complications after. If you are allergic to a medication and you didn't know, or you know, something could have happened during surgery. You know, you never know. So, let's be kind to people, guys, and just support each other, especially when you're about to have a surgery and you're scared shitless. Give someone a hug. Remind them they're not alone. Tell them that you are with them and you love them. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys in our next video. Until next time, peace, and we love you guys. Make sure to subscribe for more content. and like and share with your friends and family if you like family content, gaming content, vlogs, chit chat videos, mukbangs, which will be coming soon. I'm kind of thinking pretty sooner than expected. Alright, peace guys, bye! So here is the bruise before it got bigger, and here are the other cuts. There are two that weren't showing, but that's how it looked.
And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.